Hello and welcome to round 5 of the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup in 2026. We're at the Sachsenring in Germany and one of the trickiest venues on the calendar for 2 blockbuster races coming your way over Saturday and Sunday. We arrive here with just 6 races left on the calendar, of which we will decide our champion. It's 42 points the gap at the top of the standings between Beñat Fernandez and Ryota Ogiwara, but from then onwards it is all to play for every single rider, and as we've seen so far this season, anything can happen at any moment in Rookies Cup. But before we get going with all the racing action, we wanted to give you a little bit more insight into what makes the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup so special. So we sat down with Peter Clifford and Danny Revolta, one of the rider coaches, as well as the race director itself, Jack Gorse, to give you a little bit more insight.
So the basics of the Rookies Cup race weekend is essentially 2 practices on the Friday, 25 minutes each. Then we go into a qualifying, which is generally on the Friday evening as well, 20 minutes. And then 2 races, one on the Saturday and one on the Sunday.
We give them all the same material, all the same stuff, the same tires. We do the track walks, the coaching is more or less the same for everyone, okay? And the bike is exactly the same. And then they make the difference.
The Rookies Cup KTM is a 250cc single-cylinder 4-stroke. It's basically a Moto3 spec bike. And the fastest tracks, like Mugello, they have a top speed of about 230 kilometers an hour, over 140 miles an hour.
The sighting lap is done essentially just to move the riders round to the grid. That is literally as the time starts for pit lane open, and the sighting lap is purely just the riders to ride around to the grid. The warm-up lap is then, as we're 2 minutes before the race start, we'll wave the green flag for the warm-up lap, and the riders do that kind of half speed, maybe 3/4 speed lap to get everything up to temperature before they then come back to the grid, and then we go for the race start.
There are a number of talent cups around the world, and success in those talent cups may give you an invitation to join the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup.
The difference from this championship to the other is this kind of environment is a little bit more stressful, because here we have more media, more TV, plus you have the same bike. The difference are very, very little, and the pressure comes always higher.
Ex-rookies have won the World Championships in Moto3, Moto2 and MotoGP. They've won hundreds of Grand Prix, but the most important thing to me is the fact that more than 50% of ex-rookies have made a Grand Prix start.
It's amazing to get those extra insights from the people who know the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup best. The atmosphere is building up here in Sachsenring as we're heading for another incredible race this weekend. And as you can see, I'm in pit lane. So Alfonsi is gonna tell us his thoughts about the Sachsenring circuit. So Alfonsi, this track is one of the shortest one on the MotoGP calendar and is very well known for many left-handed corners. So how does it feel to ride here?
So of course really special to ride at this track, and I mean, yeah, so far I'm really enjoying my first time here. It's not the typical track. It has a lot of left-handed corners, but yeah, it's really special. It has this different kind of vibe, and yeah, I really like also the waterfall. It's a very big downhill, and I enjoyed this track a lot. Let's see for the race.
So I see you very excited and ready to race. So I'll let you get ready, and guys, now let me hand you over to our incredible commentary team of Matt Dunn and Peter Clifford, because it is race time.
Thank you, Dominica. And it's a beautiful, well, it's not a clear blue sky, but I don't see any rain clouds there. Matt, I think we're here for a stonking 19 laps. And as Dominica said, it's one of the shorter tracks that we have.
Did you also notice that she said incredible commentary team, Peter?
Oh, well,
First time I've heard that.
Well,
wow,
very,
very nice indeed. Well, yeah, it's fantastic conditions, apart from, I would say, some pretty strong winds. I noticed outside earlier on, I mean, it says 3 miles per hour, but I reckon it's a lot windier than that, which could cause some issues for our riders. But before we dive into more race previews, we can already head down to the grid, where Dominica has a very special guest waiting for us.
Finn, pole position is always very special, and this is your first one in the Rookies Cup, in your home GP. What would you like to say to all the German fans that are right here watching us?
Well, it was a dream to get pole here. We worked hard for this, and I was good prepared. Now the important part is coming, because the race will be hard and long. But I'm prepared, how I said, and yeah, super happy for all the guys, and I'm super happy that everyone supports me like this.
That's a great motivation. All the best of luck.
Thank you, thank you.
And not surprisingly, Finn told me he's been hyped up for this race. I mean, home races are always very special, aren't they, Matt?
Yeah, exactly. Bit of media attention around it. You can see all the vests and things around and taking photos, videos and whatever else for social media and things. I mean, hey, fair play. I mean, it's been a while that we've had a rider from one of these other countries, Northern Talent Cup particularly, sort of so competitive so soon in their Rookies Cup career. Finn Kratochvil, very, very impressive, I would say.
That's right, and of course he had those 2 podium finishes already in Mugello, a more difficult Assen, but he's been on the ball really strongly right from early on this year.
Yeah, and it's an absolute shame, to be honest. The 2 non-scores in Assen, sometimes through too much fault of his own. Sorry, he's 10th in this championship. He'll be hoping for more today. But we got another interview on the grid, Peter, as well. Dominica down there with Sullivan, Moundsey's helper.
Randall, Sally had a little bit of a difficult qualifying, starting from the back of the grid with technical issues. How does this affect the preparation for the race?
Yeah, in the end it's a technical sport, so things can happen. Sully's a professional, so he knows that he stays focused. And we as the mechanics, especially the Red Bull mechanics, we prepare the bike. So that was yesterday, now it's today. Focus for the race.
Let's do this.
Yes,
thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, Sully coming off the back of the grid. That's only today. He won't be starting at the back of the grid tomorrow. It's just a penalty for today. And there are also penalties for Kieta Singapong and Carlos Cano, who otherwise had qualified right at the front of the grid. So that is why the grid is as it is, and it will be a different grid for tomorrow. And a different grid, you know, from previously, the biggest, more spread out, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. It's the first weekend that we've got these new start procedures from MotoGP race direction. The grids are more spaced out from with distances between the rows and things like that. In MotoGP, of course, they've got rid of whole shot devices and things. That's to try and minimise the risk further of turn 1, lap 1 pile-ups across all classes, basically. So we never like to see those. Those can get quite nasty indeed. So we hope for the best with this new format now. As we turn our attention back towards the grid, of course, we're looking at Kiandra Ramadipa, who inherits second on the grid today thanks to the penalties for the aforementioned riders. He's alongside series leader Beñat Fernandez, who is in a very commanding position in the championship now, Peter. With just 3 rounds to go, 6 races including this one. Let's see how we get on.
Yeah, interesting, you know, and as you say, you know, Kiandra's on the front row of the grid. He's already won one race. He won race 2 in Jerez, and you know, he looked as though he was probably going to win here last year. He led for 8 laps right up until the final lap when he was past Brian Ariarte, and the win stolen from him, if you like, by Brian. And but let's see if he can do better this weekend.
Yeah, quite right. Second race in Assen. He had a pretty decent points haul He sits just outside the top 5 in the championship. Ramadipa was 7th place at the second race of the Netherlands last time out just a couple of weeks ago. Riders have also been in action once again last weekend as well in the Junior GP back at Jerez. Over in that series, actually, you've got 3 of our rookies, Pugliese, Cano and Borg, all in the top, occupying the top spot effectively in the championship, equal 69 points, positions 1, 2 and 3. You've got Ramadipa, who I mentioned previously, 4th position there as well.
And of course, you know, ex-rookies are, you know, they won all the races in Assen and they're leading all the world championships. So, yeah, great stuff all around.
Yeah, exactly that, just proving once again just how strong the pathway is to MotoGP through the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup. There is your championship standings at 42 points the gap now, Peter.
Yeah, and this is part of the downhill sweeping left-hander. You know, it's 270, it's more than that, it's almost 300 degrees, excuse me, 300 degrees of left-handers. You're still going left, climbing again up to the top before you flick right and down the waterfall. Quite exceptional, you know, 300 degrees on the left-hand side of the tyres.
Yeah, this track is so tricky for all Grand Prix classes, really. Bit of a go-kart track for likes of MotoGP. Probably a bit more suited to our Moto3 capacity machines here, but still such a challenge. Riders with better throttle control, probably a little bit more in command here.
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head. Throttle control.
First time for everything.
Yeah. Talking to Danny Ribalta over lunch, he said that is really the key here, being smooth. He said, and it's not just applying the throttle through these left-handers, but as you roll off as well. You know, you've got to be super smooth, and we'll talk about that as the race goes on. But it's smoothness that counts. Danny said, you know, we hammer it. Gussel and I hammer it into these rookies, and they can get it when they're cool, calm, and collected. He said it starts to go away sometimes in the heat of the race, and then things come undone.
Well, how is young Finn Kratokville feeling right now? The number 20 graduate of the Moto4 Northern Cup, who are competing here this weekend as well. He starts from pole position at his home race here in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup.
So here we are. They're coming under starters' orders. It's 19 laps of Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup action. There is the hometown hero on the left side. On his left side, and the lights are on. They're off. Who gets rolling? Hard to see. Now, Benyat Fernandez on the number 7 looks good, but no, it is Finn, the German. He has the advantage. The bigger spread helps him hold on to the advantage, but up the inside comes Kianda Ramadipa to take the lead as they go downhill.
Yeah, Benyat Fernandez slots into 3rd, but looks around the outside of Finn, but he doesn't relinquish it. He stays in 2nd place, does the German, but that was a heck of a start from the Indonesian rider, Kianda Ramadipa, from 2nd spot on the grid then. Very interesting indeed to get us off to a very safe start indeed. 2nd time we've seen this new format of a starting grid, and all success so far. Down they come then into the downhill section. All these left-handers winding up to 300 degrees of left-hand turns. You've got Borg moving up into 3rd place now, ahead of the series. Fernandez, who's that in the background? Who's gone down? That looks to me, that's Plonk, who's gone down, the number 24. That's a real shame for him.
He had a look at the motorcycle, but it obviously isn't going anywhere. The 32 has the advantage. Kianda Ramadipa, the Indonesian hero, the 16-year-old, has the advantage. Down at the bottom, it's Borg up the inside late on the brakes, but he can't get up the inside. He tried, he had a look, but Ramadipa certainly still has the advantage.
And Bahosa has joined the fray as well. He goes up the inside of Travis Borg, neck and neck with Benyat Fernandez as well. Where did Bahosa start from on the grid? 7th place for the Mallorcan, who sits actually 3rd in the series. 90 points to his name so far. A bit more on form in the Netherlands after a rather duff Mugello.
Ramadipa looking really cool, but Finn is there, very strong looking. 2nd place as they go down the hill there, and they're going to turn it right just at the bottom of the hill, back to 1st gear briefly before they accelerate up to 2nd and up to 3rd, and they'll hold 3rd as they go around the top of the sweeping left-hander. You're looking back at the number 17 of Jaroslav Kapushin.
It's Luca Agostinelli down and out at turns 1 and 2. He went down there walking away, holding his left wrist, but glad at least to be seeing him walk away from that one.
Right, that incredible left-hander, they turn up the hill. Now, something was bouncing around there. Was it somebody's knee puck, perhaps? It didn't look like a black, that looked like a multicoloured thing. Perhaps it wasn't a knee pack. But anyway, we're across the top and down the waterfall, still with the number 32, Kianda Ramadipha, in front.
Ogiwara has joined the fun then, from 12th on the grid as the 97, second place in the championship, and he's going for third place now. He's alongside his main championship rival Beñat Fernandez, who holds the outside line in towards the final turn. The 1 and 2 in the championship neck and neck into the final corner, but as they come out of it, up the steep climb, it is still Ramadipha leading the way from the German.
And Ogiwara, they're doing superbly. Of course, he was the double winner in Mugello, had an unlucky fall in Assen and sport his charge, but he's there, the 97, in third place, with Beñat Fernandez looking to go around the outside.
America stand up because Christian Daniel Jr., your man, is in 6th position as well. Used to seeing him fight towards the front consistently this year. Got a podium to his name so far. He'll be wanting more here today. And that was a bit of a moment for Beñat Fernandez coming out of turns 3 there, as we see, unfortunately, Martinez has gone down, the Venezuelan.
And you're looking back at the 70 of Christian Daniel Jr., the 17-year-old American.
Oh, such a shame. I can see on our timing screen, Sullivan Mounds' technical issues continue. He's got a black flag with the orange disc, which means he's got a mechanical and needs to pull off immediately. What a shame that is for the number 4.
I thought I saw some smoke from one of the bikes at the back, towards the back of the grid there, so that was probably Sully with an issue. Most unfortunate.
Yeah, here's what happened with Tinez, turns 1 and 2, looking towards midfield and towards the back, and oh, unfortunately down he went, and that was Mounsey and him coming together there at the back.
Yeah, he has a look at the motorcycle, nothing much to do. Right, it is our Japanese ace, Ryota Ogiwara, who has the advantage, and a long lap penalty being taken by the number 72, David Da Costa. He's got a double long lap penalty, so he's got to do that once more.
Across the line they come then. 16 laps to go. It is Ryota Ogiwara who leads the way, and although it is 42 points, the gap between him and Beñat Fernandez, Beñat needs to be pretty careful as he's at the moment pushed back down into 8th position. He can't afford to lose too many points and let Ryota gain momentum.
That's exactly, Matt, what he said to me. He said, I've got to stay near the front of the group. Yeah, the 42 points is great, you know, but I've got to defend that. I don't need to win all the races, but I've got to stay near the front of the group. So 8th is not where he wants to be, especially with Ogiwara, because he knows that Ogiwara he did the double in the Mugello. There's no reason he can't do the same here. But of course, I'm sure the opposition have got different ideas, including Ramadipha.
Having said that, though, there was some good news for Beñat Fernandez earlier today, as it was confirmed he'll be riding for the MTA Racing KTM team in the Moto3 World Championship in 2027. Very good job from him. An early signing, no less. That is the first newly confirmed signing, I believe, on the Moto3 World Championship grid, and it is for the current leader of the Rookies Cup.
And Christian Daniel Jr. goes very nicely up into 2nd place. And he's right on Ogiwara's tail as they come out onto the start and finish to complete another lap there. 4 laps completed, 15 to go. And they're 4 abreast down the start and finish here at the Saxon Ring.
Notice the riders are just starting to brake after the little crest down into turn 1. The camera doesn't really show it, but it's so downhill in that part. It's not, you know, oh, is that down? It's Christian Daniel. Oh, that's such a shame. He was having such a good run of it. He tried to save it, but the front end just washed out. Oh, Christian, that really is a crying shame.
Yeah, and I don't know whether he lost the front or the back. It's kind of right in the middle there. It both sort of went,
a bit wide and things like that.
The back perhaps went, but they were both, probably both wheels were sliding. You know, that is perhaps exactly, it's exactly what Danny Rebolta was saying, especially down that left-hander, and it's, you've got a choice of gears there, and depending on what gearing you use, what gear you're in. And he said that's really tricky there, as you've just got to be so smooth. Anything less than super smooth and it'll slide away, and that's just what happened to Christian Daniel. So it's now the 11th of David Gonzalez taking up the front running position. He goes inside Ogiwara at the bottom of the hill to take the lead.
Who's that around the outside there? I think it's Carl pushing. Yaroslav car pushing, the Kyrgyzstani rider looking very strong here. And if you cast your minds back a year ago, you'll remember seeing him on the podium here in Germany as well.
That's right, he was third in race 2 last year. Superb run. And he's been just off his best, I think, for a lot of this season. But let's see if he can get back on the podium again. Superb stuff on the brakes at the end of the start-finish straight for David Gonzalez to take the lead.
David Costa, though, with the fastest lap of the race so far. It's 1:28.776. Go on.
And of course, he's done his double long lap penalty, so he's fighting back from there. He said before the race, I said, you've got to do this. He said, don't worry. He said, I'm just going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. Don't worry.
Excellent. Not worrying at all, mate. You're fine. Good stuff. So, Beñat Fernandez, there he is on our screens at the moment. Started third, now 11th. Got to keep it calm, has young Beñat, the northern Spanish rider. As we see, fellow Spaniard David Gonzalez at the sharp end. Another rider, Peter, sporting bleached blonde hair this weekend, as is Ryota Ogiwara. I'm not sure, but...
Are you going the same way?
No, I'm just here with a mullet. You know, I'm just bringing the mullet back for me. But blonde, don't think that'll happen.
Right now, right. So Beñat Fernandez, he was 10th, he's now 9th. But as he said, you know, that is not where he needs to be. You know, OK, there's 14 laps to go. We're not even half distance yet. But he can't afford to let two of these guys get too far ahead. And
Peter, so talk to us, you know, what are the risks here for the riders who are running different gearing options? It's so steep. The climb up the hill to the start and finish, but then it's so steep downhill from the waterfall. I mean, what's the difference these riders are looking for here?
Well, interestingly, Danny said it doesn't make as much difference here as you would think. You know, whatever they do, coming down the waterfall, they all will over-rev, whichever of the two gearing choices that they use. You know, it's not like it was in Assen where it was specifically, OK, if the wind is in this direction, you're better off with this gearing or the other. He said it doesn't make an awful lot of difference. He says, in his opinion, it's tricky if you choose the gearing where, you know, you're over-revving going down the hill, just exactly where Christian Daniel Jr. fell, and perhaps that was it. He was on the odd gearing choice.
Car pushing there, just sticking his legs out, doesn't really want to make any overtakes or get too much closer to riders in front. Back at that point in the circuit, they then go right into the waterfall now. And normally, you know, with the weather in Germany can be a bit iffy sometimes, I would say. One year I remember coming here, it was 40 degrees. It's pretty hot here at the moment, but we're talking, you know, 26 in the shade, probably 32 in the sun. No such issues of the right-hand side of the tyre going cold, really, though, Peter, I would say. No?
No, it doesn't seem to be an issue here, does it? Maybe it would be, you know, on the first lap, or if it was colder, that's right. But you know, it doesn't seem to be a problem at all.
But where instead on the left-hand side of the tyre and being that real whisperer of grip is surely going to be the aim of the game, of which Yaroslav Karpushin now finds himself at the front. He was avoiding taking charge of the race earlier on, but now he's feeling a little bit more comfortable with being at the front now.
That's right. And down the bottom, you're into first gear now, accelerating up the hill through second, through third, and into fourth. Now, right on the side, these bikes don't have the slipper clutches which the full Moto3 bikes have. So the guys have got to be careful when they're changing gear with it lent right over, that they, you know, take the load off the gearbox, take the load off the rear tyre as they change. Otherwise, putting too much load into that rear tyre is going to cause you a problem. So climbing the hill again, it's the number 11 of David Gonzalez with the advantage over Rabadipa. Oh, down! Two guys go down.
Oh, it's Beñat Fernandez! Beñat has gone down. Beñat Fernandez has gone down at 47. That's Tibor Varga as well. That is a big, big crash, and that is the exact kind of issues that we were talking about, Peter.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's why he said, I want to stay out of trouble. I need to, and confirmation crash of number 7, Beñat Fernandez. I need to stay near the front and out of trouble. He's done that so successfully all year, and the one time when he sank back into the pack, and it's come undone for him. Well, you know, this is the chance of somebody else to pick up the 25 points and close that 42-point gap.
Yeah, that is absolutely fascinating, isn't it? So Ogiwara currently in 4th place. Varga rejoined, has entered the pits where he's coming, and Benyat, he's got going again, but I mean he's surely going back to the pits.
And there's exhaust pipe dragging on the ground
exactly,
there.
Exactly, there's no way
you can't
with that,
you can't race with that. I mean, I would think it's highly likely he'll get black flagged for that, because that's dangerous to himself there. You know, it's dragging on the ground through the left-handers. He just can't ride that.
Yeah, and Tibor Varga's got no seat.
Yeah, well, you saw it bouncing through the gravel.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a trials bike now,
surely he may. Well, you would think he would hear it, but I would think that he's going to be black flagged for that one.
So here's what happened then. Look in the back of shot. Benyat. Oh no. Okay, so Varga came together with somebody else, and that took Benyat Fernandez out. Oh dear. It was Singapong and Varga who came together. Oh, what a shame. So Varga didn't actually go down. His bike came apart. Well, there we have it. So big shame for both of them.
And we're still not halfway through the race. 19 laps. It'll be 10 to go as they come across the line here.
Ogiwara onto the black stuff on the edge of the curves. They go past our commentary position. And although the race is not exactly the fastest, Peter, they have whittled down the leading group to 12, which is something we've not seen for quite a while.
David Da Costa, double long lap penalty, fastest lap of the race, and up to 8th place.
Borelli is leading the chasing pack, some 10 seconds adrift. He's with Van Krooten, Dakigan, Sparks, Schmidt, Almeida at the background as well.
Yeah, Fernandez.
And Fernandez, he's
there you go, black flag.
Yes.
And should that be the orange? Yes, and he's seen it now. He's seen it.
But having said that, he might get a slap on the wrist because you're meant to pull off immediately. Well, not do a whole lap.
Or yeah.
From the moment that you see it, you're meant to pull off the circuit immediately. So I'm sure our race director will be asking him about that one.
Yeah. Well, of course, he doesn't need some sort of penalty for race 2, does he?
Well, that is my thinking. So count yourself lucky, young lad. Here we go then. Ramadeepa goes rather deep into the penultimate turn of this particular lap. The number 32 looking in a commanding position here. Ahead of 17, car pushing. David Gonzalez in 3rd. Carlos Cano looking strong here today and this weekend, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He came off the back of the grid because he got a penalty, but he qualified right at the front and said he was really enjoying it.
Yeah, exactly. 4th position, and of course that weight loss that he's been on as someone gets pushed while it's Gonzalez getting punted back. Cano with his much lighter frame will find himself getting up the hills a lot easier. And
was it somebody waving? Was it Cano saying, sticking behind me? It is the most wasted, signal in motorcycle racing, isn't it? Right. So Ramadeepa, it is with the advantage. Cano, yes, he said, I made a breakthrough in Assen. He said, I really feel I'm going to carry that forward here. I'm feeling super confident, and I can't wait for the race. He said, even though he's coming off the back of the grid, and he's obviously overcome that one superbly.
And Ramadeepa at the front, somewhat starting to break away. Did he also get his first win here last year, Peter?
Well, he didn't. He was 2nd.
That was it. His first podium it was.
That's right.
Yeah,
he led for 8 laps and was passed by Brian Ariarte on the last lap. So, he was robbed.
Outfoxed by Brian.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, Ramadeepa, he knows his way around here. He knows how to lead, but he's yet to learn how to win. But let's see if he can do that. Carlos Cano there in 2nd place as they go across the line. 8 laps remaining. We're into the second half of the race finally, and there's plenty of action still remaining. Still the 32 of Kianda Ramadeepa.
But it's now Carlos Cano into the lead. The 71 as Ogiwara's front wheel very nearly touches the rear of Ramadeepa's. But I've got to say, Peter, I love either an underdog or a home rider in sort of predictions who I'm cheering for in any given scenario. Finn Kratokville in 6th position, the number 20. Go on, lad, keep it calm, make your way through towards the final laps, and bring it home on the box.
I know somebody will be very disappointed, and he's down 11th place. That's Singapore. He was second quickest. He was started off the back of the grid because of the penalty, but he said he was really, you know, he did everything right in practice apart from getting a penalty. But he did in qualifying. He said, I rode on my own, I rode in a group, I really worked it out. He said, I'm really confident. But there he is, still back in 11th place.
He's too much of the tyres. Another rider that's quietly confident, I would say, is Travis Borg, the number 23, a podium for him last weekend in Jerez in the Junior GP. They're in 4th position now, the Maltese rider.
I can say it's so easy to spot him, isn't there, in 3rd place?
Of course, could have been a winner in Rookies Cup last time out, but took himself out of that running, unfortunately, in the final corners, didn't he?
Yeah, he said, I just arrived, you know, too excited at the final corner. He said, I lost the front, I lost the rear, and, you know, still managed to get across the line in 3rd place. Right, so the 71 dives across the nose. It is the Carlos Cano, the 16-year-old Spaniard.
And they are all starting to get a bit silly into turn 1 now. They're getting a bit... sort of all choices of lines and braking points going on there, and it's not very smooth anymore.
Right, and as I say, this is what Danny said. It's all very well when they're playing cool, calm and collected, and they know that they've got to be smooth on the throttle, but when things get a bit excited, that's when it all goes away. And if you're not smooth rolling it off, if you're not smooth rolling it on, that rear tyre is going to be squirming and going all over the place, including onto the green stuff now.
Yeah, Carlos Cano just way wide there. I mean, you don't want to do that too many times, lad, or you'll find yourself with an unpleasant long lap penalty, but still leading the way for now.
I notice there's quite a few places here where it's black over the curbing, it's not green, so you can get away with it in some places. Not here, down the waterfall, somebody all over the curb. Was that Travis Borg? Ooh, very wide, that's deep.
Car pushing very, very wide there, just hanging out. I mean, there is a choice of lines there through the penultimate turn. I think, you know, you can run it a bit wider, more corner speed. Same here as well. You can dive up the inside, but you'll sacrifice your drive out of it as they come across the line once again. Then 6 laps to go. Cano, Ogiwara, car pushing. Singapong up into 4th, Peter.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant stuff from the
And
85.
now in a second.
Yeah.
And now in a second is Mike Hughes.
I said he was disappointed.
He's got a radio piece, listen to you, and he says, shut up, Peter.
Yeah, I'm going to do it now. And there he goes. Yeah, brilliant stuff. He's the oldest rider in our Cup this series this year. He's 20 years old, the Thai rider.
Marilanda, long lap penalty for the Colombian. Number 27, waiting to look for why. I mean, it's had a track limits warning before, but I'm not sure why he's got a long lap penalty unless... Well, we'll find out. We'll find out at some stage.
And Cano has got a track limits warning as well. We saw one of those excursions onto the green. Right, so the 85 in 2nd place. Looking for an inside line of a change direction. Does he go around the outside down the waterfall? He does, to take the lead. Superb stuff.
That was brave. That was as brave as it gets. Down the waterfall, plunging into the penultimate corner then, but it is car pushing who leads the way then from Ogiwara. And David Gonzalez finds himself back into the top 3.
It's just a blanket covers a lot of them, doesn't it?
It does now. It does now. It was a slow lap last time around. 130s last time around. What's it going to be this time?
Yeah, as you say, Marilanda confirmed it is a long lap penalty exceeding track limits for Marilanda. Now the 97. Ryoti Ogiwara again has the advantage. 5 laps remaining. Down the hill they go. 2nd or 3rd, depending on what gearing you have. Back to 1st, briefly at the bottom. Change to 2nd to 3rd as you change direction there.
It is much steeper than you'd think on looking at your TV screens, I can assure you. Real calf burner walking up that.
Absolutely superb. Holding 4th, up into 5th along the bottom. Just shows how tight that is, doesn't it? As they turn to go downhill, those 3.
Whoa,
oh, bit
Gonzalez
too close.
and
Yeah.
there as well.
Yeah, exchanging a bit of Leathers rubber there. The Alpine Stars gear getting a workout. Hard on the brakes at the bottom of the hill. Who has the advantage coming out? It's the 97 of Ogiwara, the double winner from Mugello.
Will Marulanda be taking the long lap penalty? Yes, he is. The Colombian welcome back after a tough incident in the Junior GP a couple of weeks ago. Left him out of action in Assen. Good to see him back.
Now the 20 there in 4th place, Kotokville. He is, of course, the local hero. Has he got something up his sleeve? Just 4 laps remaining.
Kano getting pushed wide there, slotting back in. Turn 3. This is around about the time, Peter. 4 laps to go. This is where they're all really going to be jostling for that position, for that final run down to the final corner. I mean, hopefully we haven't got too many riders all together going into the final turn on the last lap.
No, it gets very, very sketchy, doesn't it? Now there's a group of 4. Okay, can these guys break away? At the back of the group is the number 20, the local hero. That's Finn, the NTC champion. So he won an NTC race here last year. That leading the next group is the 71 of Carlos Cano. He should be capable of dragging that group back in terms. Oh, that was a bit interesting, wasn't it? Kiatsak Singapong there, he got a rather bit too close to Cano as they changed direction.
Gonzalez up the inside of Karpushin. Oh, so close through there then, but look at this. Kratokville just minding his own business or so, a bit of a lunge towards the inside, takes a look, takes a peek, thinks better of it. So over the line they come then. 3 laps to go. Ogiwara will know that Beñat Fernandez is out of action, surely. So it's not the championship lead for the taking, but he can make big inroads today if he takes that P1 spot and the full 25 points.
Kano is right on the tail of that quartet, not quite with them yet. Pretty close though to make it no longer just 4 of them battling for the win with 2.5 laps remaining.
Now it is really being pushed now, Peter. Look how slow they were going before. Now we're in mid to low 129, so a lot of pace been in hand for the riders, and the top 4 are the ones who have really pulled the pin. Ogiwara just saying, now it's a case of catch me if you can. Let's go. Karpushin on the chase. Gonzalez goes with Kratokville just in the background then. Then we have Singapong, not used up all his tyres from the back of the grid. What a story that would be, coming all the way through towards the top.
And Ogiwara, he only qualified 14th, so he's found a little bit of something special for the race. It's 3 abreast, is it? Trying to pass Ogiwara, they can't up the inside.
Blimey.
Goes the number 11, that is David Gonzalez, the 18-year-old Spaniard.
Almost a PlayStation line for the Spaniard there as well, as he goes up into 2nd place through the final corner now, and we'll see what the lap times are onto as they cross the line this time. Mid 129s and 128 from Singapore. He's really pulled something out of the hat to really claw himself back in, and look at him go into the 2nd spot. Let the brakes off, did Mike Hugh. Have some of that, David.
So he qualified with a 128.2, but you know, some of the others didn't get into the 28s, including Ogiwara, who's 29.1. So Ogiwara's got to find something a little bit extra if he's going to battle to the finish with Singapore.
Well then, we love an underdog, but Don Gonzalez punches him straight back. It's a full boxing match going on between the Thai and the Spaniard there, the 11 versus the 85, but all this jostling gives Ryota Ogiwara that bit of breathing space that he might need to take this all the way to the checkered flag. Finn Kratokville not out of the count just yet either, as they come to the through the waterfall for the penultimate time. What a move that was again from Singapore. Up the inside once more through turn 11. As brave as you like, he's going 2 for 1. Up the inside, tries Mike Hugh, but to no avail this time. But Ogiwara certainly knows he's there as we come into the final corner for the penultimate time. This is it, Peter. 1 lap to go.
So at lunchtime I spoke to Brian Uriarte. I said, Brian, Rookies Cup. I said, where's the favourite overtaking place? Is it down the waterfall into the first of the left-handers or the second. He said, really, you want to try and get it done into the first of the left-handers. Leading to the last one is very difficult, but it can be done, he said. If you can do it into the first left-hander, do it there.
Number 20, Finn Kratopville, Germany. He's into second place. This could be something very special from the first-year rookie, but there's still a few bike links in hand for Ogiwara out front. He just needs to keep it cool, calm, collected, hit his marks, hit his lines, smooth on the throttle, and he can find himself winning this race here today. Gonzalez at the inside of Kratopville once more, but what has Finn got in these final couple of sectors?
Now, if these lot battle it out between them, they're going to spoil each other's line. I think that's very much what's going to happen. Ogiwara is in the hot seat very much because he's got the slightest advantage. Gonzalez going after him with all strength. They go just left down the waterfall, and then you've only got the two left-handers to go. Who can catch Ogiwara on the brakes at the bottom of the hill here?
No one. This is surely it. They're all thinking about each other, Peter. Through the penultimate corner, there could be a lunge coming here.
Yes, I'm sure that David Gonzalez is going to give it a go. He's not going to want to accept second, but can he? He looks up the inside, he can't do it. It's going to be Ogiwara, the Mugello winners. Surely going to win this. It's a short run up to the hill to the start and finish line, and he has it. It's brilliant. Japan that wins.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant from Ogiwara. That is how you make inroads on a substantial championship lead. He halves the lead that Beñat Fernandez has got, and with 5 races left to go in the series, the fight is well and truly back on. Gonzalez second place, Singapong from 22nd or so on the grid up to third place, punting Kratopville just off a glorious home podium. But what an effort for the German.
Absolutely great ride. A superb ride from so many riders there, wasn't it? As you know, is so often the case. Absolutely brilliant stuff. But Ogiwara, you know, he's never been here before. As I say, he qualified, you know, way down, you know, in 14th place. He had to go considerably quicker, really. Guys had qualified quicker than him around him, and still he did it when he had to.
Yeah, exactly that. 131 points to his name now, to Beñat Fernandez's 131 points to Beñat Fernandez's 148. How about that?
17.
Even Bahosa is still 97 points to his name. He finished up 9th place. That's not enough to make big inroads here today.
But Ogiwara, he's a threat, isn't he? Because, you know, it wasn't just that unfortunately Beñat fell, but he wasn't looking super strong, was he? You know, he said, you know, with other people we said, OK, he's just playing a game or whatever. But we know that he likes to be towards the front of that group. He's happiest when he's 3rd, 4th or 5th, not
exactly.
8th, 9th or 10th.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if you're down that far, you can put yourself in that position of higher risk where these sorts of things can happen. I'm looking at him across the pit lane from our commentary position now, and he cuts a rather sad figure as he collects his things and his bike, ready to go back to the tent. This is a replay from the last lap, going into the first corner.
Finn did it brilliantly there, didn't he? He's going down the hill in 2nd place there.
But Gonzalez...
Yeah. And that's where it was lost, really, because in getting past Finn, Gonzalez sort of, you know, had to use a less than perfect line, and he just didn't have. He was late on the brakes, but not late enough to get close to Ogiwara. And even though Ogiwara's never ridden the last lap here before, he's never seen the circuit before, he still did a perfect last corner to lead up over the start and finish, the short run to the finish line at the Saxon Ring.
Well then, what a race that was to kick us off. 5 races to go in Rookies Cup 2026. That was a very, very important ride, wasn't it? And not the complete crazy bonanza that we've been experiencing the last several rounds.
And I think it gave us absolutely no clue as to what to expect from tomorrow's race.
Yeah, you could see it completely flipped in his head. And of course, everybody, as we look at David Gonzalez's, some might say, glorious bleach blonde locks, tomorrow we're racing at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's right.
After.
You don't have to get up early. Yeah.
No, and also that does change things because there'll be so much more rubber down on the track as well at the end of the day.
Warmer, you know, and it's a very similar temperature to today. You know, Kano, who looked like he could well have won that race, he crossed the line in 8th place. Verhoeven, who you expect to be any day on the podium, he's 9th. Travis Borg, you know, he came through there, looked super strong, didn't he?
Yeah.
Finished, crosses the line 10th place. Marolander, long lap penalty and still 11th. So, yeah, really, really interesting. No clue as to just what's going to happen. What's going to happen tomorrow. But this man, Ogiwara, we know he can do it. You know.
Quite right. And absolutely, quite right.
And he will have learnt, because as I say, his qualifying wasn't that great, but you know, he's now learnt from that, and maybe he's going to tinker with the motorcycle, maybe he's not, maybe he's happy with everything, but he obviously has learnt a lot in his first race here at the Saxon.
Absolutely cracking job from our 2 Asia Talent Cup graduates. Moto 4 Asia Cup now, so it is, with Gonzalez splitting them both on the podium then.
Yeah, and you know, he's a guy we talked before about the fact that Bennett Fernandez is Mr. Consistency, Mr. Control, that sort of thing. You know, and he picks up whatever places he has to. But the number 11, David Gonzalez, he you know, might have won race 1 in Le Mans. He won race 2. You know, he doesn't. You know, he's had some great rides. He's had a first, a second, and another second, but also some disasters.
Well then, let's hear from Singapong, 22nd to 3rd. What does he make of that, Dominica?
Singapong, huge congratulations. You started 22 on the grid and you got a podium, so wow, what a tough race.
Yes, thank you. Very incredible. I don't know how to say, but I try to push. I try to not give up. I try to go in the front a lot, and yeah, very good.
Tomorrow you're gonna start up front, so how do you feel about that?
For tomorrow, I try to be calm, not aggressive or not pushing a lot. Stay in the group and just finish the race in the podium again.
Well, thank you so much. Good job.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from Mike Yu. That's very impressive. I mean, yeah, starting tomorrow from much further up on the grid. I mean, if that's what he can pull off from 22nd, what's he going to do from 2nd on the grid tomorrow, Peter?
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, he was on the podium with 3rd place in race 1 in Jerez, and he hasn't been on the podium since then. It's sort of, he's had decent rides. He's been there or thereabouts, but certainly something special to be qualifying in 2nd place and then coming from the back of the grid from the penalty to get on the podium again.
2 second places in a row for David Gonzalez then. 2nd in the Netherlands, race 2, 2nd here today. He's got to be delighted with that. Maybe it was the blonde, bleached blonde hair giving him some better luck. What did you make of that one, Dominic?
Well, David Gonzalez, congratulations. Another podium for you. And Matt Dunn just mentioned that the blonde hair brought you a lot of luck.
Yes, I'm very happy for this podium. The race is difficult, it's very long, very fighting. In a moment I going back, then I going to the first position. The last lap is crazy, I'm 3rd. I overtake a friend in the Tour 5. I push to cut Oriwara. I cut, but I can pass. 2nd position, I'm very happy. It's for the new year. Thank you to the Red Bull Rookies Cup for this opportunity, for my family, my sponsor. Thank you.
And you're keeping the blonde hair for tomorrow, right?
Yes.
And the next race weekend?
I don't know, in September, I don't know.
Well done, thank you.
Yeah, that's right, it's September. That's a long time to keep the hairstyle.
Would be quite a choice if he went down the pharmacy this evening and came out tomorrow blue, red, ginger, brunette or whatever. I mean, what a way to spend Saturday night ahead of race 2. Yeah. So, David Gonzalez, yes. Not, as we've mentioned many times before, not the championship contender that we were expecting this year. Sometimes not through any real fault of his own, but he's got to be happy with that one.
That's right. He's an interesting character, isn't he? Super nice guy. Obviously, super fast. And I just wonder what he's got to do to be more consistent.
Someone who is consistent, though, Ogiwara. Another win for him. Can he do the double tomorrow? He's down in he's down in Parc Ferme with Domi, I should say.
Ryota, congratulations. A brand new track for you, and again, you won. You were very quiet though over the weekend, so tell us, were you concentrating, and talk us through the race?
Yes, this weekend was a little bit struggle for me because I don't know, the lap time not coming until yesterday qualify. Then yeah, honestly, before the race, I thinking this race was tough. This race is gonna tough. But when I start the race, my feeling so good. Then I push a lot, leading the race. Then sometime middle of the race, I back into 5th or 6th. But yeah, finally last few laps leading the race. Then yeah, I get victory. Another victory. Wow, super happy, super amazing. Thank you.
And what do you think about tomorrow's race and the Saxon Ring circuit?
Tomorrow race, wow, I don't know. I don't have the plan for tomorrow. Just full gas and keep pushing.
Well, thank you so much, and keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's reading between the lines. I think that's a real warning tomorrow. You know, when he said I was struggling through practice, you know, until qualifying, well, you know, he didn't qualify that well. Then he goes and wins the race. So that's boosted his confidence tremendously. It should have done anyway. And any questions he had about bike setup or himself knowing the circuit, that's banished now. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to beat him tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly that. We're really looking forward to it, don't we? It's proper crunch time in the championship. Can't really afford any sort of mistakes. And you know, he's such a cool head in amongst the chaos, isn't he? Has been for well, most of the races for a little while now. Of course, came away with no points in the second race in the Netherlands, but 4th place off the back of that double victory in Mugello. Certainly doing very well indeed. Let's look at the final full results then. Ogiwara, Gonzalez, Singapong, Kratokville 4th ahead of Ramadipa in the end, 5th place across the line ahead of Karpushin. David Acosta, hey, hats off to him. A double long lap penalty to come home with 7th place is very impressive. Carno just ahead of him, Bahosa and Borg, your top 10. 11th Marulanda, then Pugliese. Dakigan at the start of the chasing group in 13th spot ahead of Ethan Sparks, and Van Croofton taking the final point there. Borelli, Schmidt, Almeida, the last of the finishers.
Yeah, it's unusual that we only have 18 finishers, actually, isn't it? You know, a few fallers there, some more, you know, make bigger effect than others. Certainly Benyat Fernandez. What do you think his attitude is going to be going into the race tomorrow?
I think he's going to have to really try and fight back. You know, sort of, he can't really count him out of the win so long as he's firing all cylinders after today.
Yeah, well, he was 7th and 8th last year, so not a brilliant result from last season. But as he pointed out to me, he said, I was in P4 until I came into the last corner. Then somebody punted me wide and I went from 4th to 8th, so perhaps not his fault. You know, I think perhaps in a way, perhaps it's done him a favour because it's focused things. He can't just be Mr. Control anymore. He's got to go for it. You know, wins are what's going to count now with just 5 races remaining.
Are you suggesting we have a real championship fight on our hands in these last 5 races to go? I certainly hope so.
Yeah, I think so. And as you said, you know, Ogiwara is so cool, and that harks back to what Danny Ribalta was saying about you've got to be cool, you've got to be calm and smooth. And, you know, even in the heat of the battle at the front, it would appear that Ogiwara can do that. He was super smooth and calm. Not everywhere, because, of course, he slid off in Assen. But here he certainly showed that today.
Singapong onto the podium then, and David Gonzalez joins him as well. Your winner comes out to Ryota Ogiwara, once again atop a Rookies Cup podium.
Absolutely superb, and the trophy today is due to be presented by Red Bull athlete Denis Zenz. He's a Rally Raid co-driver and navigator. He's been a serious rally driver since he was 15 years old, doing stupendous things like the Paris-Dakar and that sort of thing. Obviously very different to what he's watching here. One of the great stars, one of the great Red Bull athletes.
And the trophy in gold goes.
So, time for your winner to lift the trophy as well. A piston from the motorcycles. There is Yota Ogiwara, lifts it high, and we prepare for the Japanese national anthem here in Sachsenring.
Anthem of the winner nation, Japan.
So that is the first race here at the Saxon Ring, done and dusted. Sunday is not an early start. It's 15:30 Central European summertime, with the show starting 10 minutes earlier. But until then, it's goodbye from Matt Dunn and myself, Peter Clifford.
These are the highlights from Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup Round 5, Race 1 at the Saxon Ring. It was lights out with the German on pole position, Finn Kvartopfil storming away to take the whole shot, but not for long, because it was Kianja Ramadipa, the Indonesian rider, who would take the lead early on in the race. That was Guy and Plonk crashing out of the race early on, and Christian Daniel joining him in the gravel as well. Both riders walking away from that one. It was David Gonzalez leading the way as our series leader was taken out of the race. Beñat Fernandez absolutely furious with the misfortune that befell him. But then it was second place in the series. Yota Ogiwara, eventual winner, storming through in towards first place, where he would stay pretty much for the remainder of the race, with short stints from the likes of Jaroslav Karpushyn, the number 17 who took a podium here last year, in towards the lead. And keep an eye on the 85 of Singapore coming through for 22nd on the grid up towards the podium. It was Ogiwara, Gonzalez and Singapore with the podium. Join us tomorrow for race 2.